Okay, let's give these gringos something to talk about. From the headquarters of the Wheel of Iron Golf Foundation for Military Vets, it is time for the Wheel of Iron podcast with your founder and host, Jeff Spadafora, aka Spaddy.
I'm Jeff Spadafora. Welcome to the Wheel of Iron podcast, an uncensored space where military veterans share their stories, proving that where there's a will, there's a way. We explore their paths to finding the next mission in life after separating from the United States Armed Forces. So let's begin to empower you with conversations that matter. And please subscribe now so you don't miss anything. In today's episode, you will meet the woman who inspired my wife to create our Birdies of Eagles golf program, exclusive for children of disabled and PTSD-diagnosed military veterans. This program is my wife's love. Therefore, she will take the lead in this interview. I will be going golfing. I give you Xiomara Spadafora.
So hello everyone, and thank you for listening. I will try to speak slower than usual so you can understand my crazy Colombian accent. As Jeff said, the Birdies of Eagles golf program has a huge place in my heart. I feel like I'm a big mama bird, just no yellow. But enough of me. Today, I want you to meet Hilda Alexander, U.S. Navy veteran and director and founder of Alexander Academy. Welcome to the podcast, Hilda.
Thank you so much for having me.
And as always, thank you for your service to our nation. Could you please tell us a little bit about yourself?
Okay, my name is Hilda Alexander. I am a wife and a mother of 3. I served in the Navy for almost 12 years. I served as a fire controlman, but I worked on an air search radar. And during that time, I was stationed on 2 ships, the USS Kennedy and the USS Eisenhower. On both of those ships, I was the only female in my workspace.
Wow.
I've always worked with all men. And so I got used to kind of being like taking up space, creating my own space in a male-dominated field. It was a very, very male-dominated field. In fact, the year that I joined the Navy was the first year they allowed women inside of that rate or that field.
Wow.
So I just kind of got used to
being like a trailblazer.
Being a trailblazer, yes.
Nice.
And I became comfortable being uncomfortable. And it kind of, I guess, led me to where I am today.
Let's talk about the Alexander Academy. When and why did you decide to start it?
So initially, it wasn't something that I wanted to do. It came out of necessity. During the pandemic, when that happened, my middle child, she is really gifted, and she went into kindergarten reading chapter books. And when the pandemic hit and they couldn't go back, the packet that they sent home that was supposed to last for 2 weeks, it took her all of like 15, 20 minutes to complete it. So I was like, this is not going to work. So I started supplementing it myself.
Yeah.
And I do have a degree in early education. So it was fine, but I just didn't think at that time that I was going to teach my own kids. So I found someone that was going to teach her, and then ended up just not working out.
Yeah.
And so I was venting to my friends, and I was telling them, like, I'm gonna do it myself. I'm gonna homeschool them. I don't want them to suffer because of the pandemic or because I didn't find the proper place for them. And my friends were like, well, can you teach my kids? And initially I said, no, like, you're crazy. I don't even want them to teach my own, really. But I thought about it, and I said, they had the experience, well, my middle did, of going to regular school, being around a bunch of kids, and then even through the pandemic, the space that they were in, it was small, but they still had other kids that they could, leave the house and go to and interact with. So I said, I don't think they'll do well just being home by themselves. So I said, well, I thought about it.
Yes.
Let's give it a go. And I figured it would be easier that way to have the balance of school and work. And so we decided to just, let's go ahead and get it started with 5 kids, and here we are.
There we are. Okay. And now how many do you have right now?
Now we have 18 full-time and 1 part-time student, so 19 total.
Unbelievable.
And it is organized chaos. But it's great. Like, they are a great bunch of kids. I wouldn't ask for any other kids. Like, they are wonderful.
Wow. All right, so Hilda became beneficiary of the Wheel of Iron Golf Program on November 30, 2021. It's been 4 full years. Can you believe that? It's unbelievable.
It went fast.
So what did you think about golf before you became part of the program?
I would say I've always been interested in golf. Like the first time I would say I was honest, like really interested was in high school. But I come from a really small town, and the only way you could play was in high school, and the only way you could be on the team was if you already knew how to play and you had your own equipment, which I had neither. So it wasn't an option. Moving forward, when I had my first child, I was like, I'm gonna put her into golf. I really want her to play golf because I think like I feel like it is a sport that I don't worry about them getting injured severely. And so I was like, it's a safe sport in my opinion. It's one that it seemed to be really fun. I just did not know how to break in. So when she was of age to start, I got really, really overwhelmed. And so she never started. Because I was like, okay, I can buy the clubs, but if I put her, is this class going to be sufficient? Like I just kept going back and forth on how to break in, and I didn't do it. And so I finally found an organization to put her in, and she was slowly progressing. And then I came to a point where I was like, well, I don't even know if she's doing great because I still don't know about the game. So as soon as I heard about an opportunity to go and play golf with, what organization was it?
Wounded Warrior.
Wounded Warriors.
Was how we met.
Yes, I started playing with Wounded Warriors. I loved it. I was like having a great time, but I did not have clubs. So every time I would go out with them, you know, they would rent the clubs for me. I would have a good time, and I didn't have any clubs. So one day I was playing with a group of guys and one female, and she said, well, I know this great organization. They'll help you get clubs. My husband got them, and I was like, well, can you share that with me, please? And she did, and I reached out immediately. I was like, oh my God, this is my bio. I would be so grateful if I could get some clubs. You know, I really want to play because I was excited. And you guys said, sure. And I was like,
wow.
That really? Like, I'm in? I get clubs? But it has been such a blessing to be able to play with my kids, to learn alongside with my kids. And I do feel like it was a big learning curve, being that I had no background in golf, and I didn't know any of the unwritten rules, and there seems to be quite a few.
Quite a few.
I'm still learning. Sure. But I was really grateful. I was really grateful to have the opportunity to get the clubs and to learn alongside with my kids, and I feel like I was able to help them more, being that I had the clubs.
Exactly. So for the audience, to tell you the story, after Hilda became a beneficiary of the foundation, I started following her social media. And then one day I looked at one of her posts, and it's a video of her at PE with the kiddos, and the PE class was at Brentwood Golf Course. And immediately my light went off, and I'm like, oh my God. I texted her and I'm like, what are you doing? She said, this is the PE class that we're doing. And I asked her, are all these kids children of veteran? And the moment she said yes, immediately the Birdies of Eagles that you see right here was born. And it's absolutely my pride and joy. Out of all the sports, why did you pick golf for your kids, for boys and girls, not just, like you said, for your daughter, but what is it that you think is beneficial for children?
I think golf hits a lot of ticks for me. One, it's a great sport. Two, it's what I would call it's a solo sport. So you work on your individual self. You know, you can play as a team, but you can go out and play your personal best and kind of track yourself. And I thought that was a great thing, especially when it comes to little kids. And everybody wants to find their way. They want to find their place. And so if you find the sport for them where they're not necessarily competing against the next person, but they're competing against themselves, it shows them how they can show up every time for themselves. And not necessarily be pitted against other kids. And I think that's really good for their development. For my kids, I didn't want them to go through what I went through. Like, I'm interested in this sport, but I have no access. And so when I found that you were interested in helping us, I was like, yes. Because it is a very expensive sport. You know, as they grow, they need new clubs.
The instruction,
yes. I was originally doing it on my own. Like what I knew, I was like, okay, I'll learn what I can, and I'll go and apply it to the kids. And I was doing my best, and they were very receptive. It worked for PE, but to get them to the level where they are now, they definitely needed professional instruction. And London is my middle child. She is over the moon about being good at golf. Like she had her first tournament and she showed up and she didn't place where she initially thought she should place or she wanted to place, but we talked about it and she said, well, it was my first time, and all of the other girls played at the course before, and I'd never played here before.
Good.
And like she talked herself through it, and she was like, it was fun. It didn't even feel like it was a tournament. And I said, bam. So we're there. You have confidence. You know how you can improve yourself. And I felt like she's my kid that is really self-critical. So I said, it's working. She was able to walk away and still want to play the game and go back for more. So that was the reason I chose it for PE, and I think it was a great choice.
It is a great choice. Talk about a little bit about your service. So you mentioned that you served almost 12 years,
Yes.
and you were a fire control man.
Yes.
I guess that's a very good skill when you're dealing with kids, right?
Well, a lot of people think fire controlmen like firemen, but it's actually fire controlmen like firepower, missiles, and guns, weapon
even
systems.
Better.
Yes, it's like
More
a weapon
power.
system. Yes.
More power. So, and as a radar tech for the 48E, is this a ship?
No, the 48 Echo is
I'm a civilian.
Yes. The 48 Echo is an air search radar. It's the primary radar on the 2 aircraft carriers that I served on.
Nice.
Well, one of them was the primary, the other one was secondary. But the reason I ended up getting that system and not a weapon system is because it is the backup radar that they use. If everything goes down, it can be used to help guide the missiles.
Oh, wow.
So
Crucial job. What are the lessons of your time in the military that propelled you to think about starting your own business? Like, one thing is necessity, like you say with COVID, but you could have stopped and sent your kids back to school once things normalize.
Yes.
What prompted you to be like, you know what, I can do this?
I talked about earlier being getting comfortable being uncomfortable, and every step of the way I think I have been uncomfortable because in the back of my head I have this knowledge of I'm holding these kids' future in the palm of my hand, and it scares me daily. I'm like, I have to do right by them. I have to make sure that I'm providing the best, and if that's not me, I have to be honest with myself and say I need to give it to someone else. Right. So I think the part of me that I got, the part that I got from the military that prepared me for this, besides that, is been a little bit crazy. Like, I just always, I joined the Navy when I was 17. I'm from a really small town, and everybody was like, oh no, you're set. Like, I just turned 17. They're like, no, we're really afraid of, like, you don't have to go. And I'm like, yes, I want to go around the world. I want to serve my country. And I've been adventurous, and I think you have to be a little adventurous to open a school because you have all these different personalities. These kids have completely different personalities, different skill sets, different deficits sometimes, and we're not only just teaching them, we have to make sure that we don't break their spirit and that we keep them in a great headspace. And so been a little crazy to take that head on because it had its own set of challenges, but we just plowed right through them.
Amazing. You're doing an amazing job,
Thank
Hilda.
you.
And then specifically as a woman, because like you said, if you were the only woman, the only female in a male-dominated field, pretty much, what you learned from that experience that you can teach and raise your daughter? Like, teach to your student, your female students, and to your raising your daughters.
Take up space. To take up space, even if no one thinks you belong there, if no one wants you there, it doesn't matter. The only thing that matters is what you think. And like, I know with golf, being an African-American woman, that I'm not going to see a lot of people that look like me, and I have to be okay with that. And I am. I got really comfortable with that because that was the case in every space that I walked into. It was the case when I was in school. It was the case when I came into the Navy. Even in the school in the Navy, I was the only female and only one of two black people in that particular class. So I had to learn to take up space because, I feel like there are a lot of good people in this world that want to see you succeed and thrive. And there are always going to be people that don't, but as long as you just focus on the positive and the good, and you say, I'm going to take up space, I'm going to be present, I'm going to do whatever it is that I set my mind to, then you're going to be fine. And so I want them to walk away with that, for them to know that, it's okay if not a lot of people that look like you are showing up on the golf course. Like, you belong there. You have the skill set. Go have fun and know that no matter what, it's what you make of it. Yes. So as a disabled veteran,
do you think that this enterprise has helped your mental health issues?
Yeah. Are you talking about the school or
The
or golf?
school. Let's talk
Okay.
about the school,
The
especially
school.
like keeping your mind busy. I'm a firm believer that when you keep your mind busy, everybody has worries, everybody has trauma, everybody has stressors. But when you have your mind busy, there's really no time to think about a lot of the bad experiences.
Oh, the school keeps me
The
very
school.
busy. Very busy.
Yeah.
I think sometimes, like, I think the first time in my life ever, last week, it was the day that I forgot to eat. Like, it was the end of the day.
Wow.
I'm getting ready for dinner, and I say, oh, I left my lunchbox, by the door. Let me go take that so I can prepare for tomorrow. And I open it up, and my food is there. And I had no idea. Like,
Wow.
I love food.
And
so,
good diet then.
I
It's a
love
good
food.
diet too.
Yes. So I realized I was like, this has never happened. And it wasn't a bad day. It was just a day where a lot of things were going on. Like, we were trying to make sure that the kids get what they need. They individually are on completely separate levels. Even the ones that are the same age, they have different skill sets. So one may be high in one area, and another one may be high in a different area. So it's not a cookie cutter program. So I'm always busy. It keeps me in a great headspace. When I reflect and I think about the opportunity that I have to be a change maker in their life, to get the opportunity to expose them to different things and to watch them grow and to see them share a part of themselves with me, I feel grateful. So I know I'm honestly in the best headspace I've been in, I think, in my entire life. Because, like, I'm older, I'm wiser, I know more things, but now I'm truly happy. I get to experience the best things in life. I really feel like I'm lucky. Like, and I tell my husband that, I would say in the last 2 weeks, I've just been just happy. And I'm like, and it's nothing in particular except for being grateful.
And fulfilled.
And fulfilled, yes. But being grateful, like all the opportunity you've given us for us to continue to help them grow in the game of golf and watch them just get excited. Like, I don't think I could have done that because of the cost barrier with everything. Like, their academics has to come first, and this would have taken a back seat. Yeah. And so for them to have the opportunity to do it, like, I'm constantly grateful, and it just makes me happy. Yes.
That's wonderful. Well, this podcast was created to give voice to our veterans and beneficiaries, but also we want to reach those that are maybe struggling and they don't know like where to turn to or what to do or how to make the decision to just try something new to help their mental health. So what would you tell, a message for the fellow veterans that are out there?
Well, definitely try something new. I'm happy I tried golf. I love it. Not just even the game, just the people. I've met so many people volunteering with you, with the tournament, and that has been a blessing in itself. So trying new things, volunteering, whether it's with the school, a lot of the public schools need help as well, like with readers and whatever they feel their skill set is, they have something to offer. Yeah. And if people, just sit back and think about, like, what is it that brings me joy? Yeah. It may not be kids. Not everyone wants to be around kids. And I get that.
I have to admit, I wouldn't do it.
Yeah, not everyone can do that. But for the people who love kids, they can volunteer with kids. For people, but it could be anything. You can go volunteer on a farm and help, create food for people, or at a food bank. Or there's just so many choices. There's so many opportunities to volunteer, and everyone needs help. Yeah. And so if they think about, like, what brings me joy, see how you can find something in some way to give back. But I do think stepping out of that comfort zone and giving things a try, because you can always say, okay, that wasn't for me. Yeah. But try it. It may be for you, and it may be that thing that clicks that opens up other opportunities.
Well, I hope that the military veterans out there will take your advice, and there will be always welcome in the Will of Iron Golf Foundation. So thank you, Hilda, for being here today.
No, thank
and
you.
We'll do it again. Pleasure to see you.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you for joining us on the Will of Iron podcast. Together we can support veterans and their mental health by fostering connections among those who served our nation and the civilians who are grateful for their service. To learn more about our mission, become a beneficiary, or support our programs, visit willofironforvets.org. Don't forget to subscribe, leave a review, share this podcast with someone who needs it. Until next time, remember, if there's a will, there's a way.